Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Brandon Crow watching from Hockey Canada. Writes in and he says, my wife and her two sisters all played NCAA Division I hockey. They attribute it to waiting around that chute as kids and using those prairie oysters as hockey puck. Shooting them for the dog. Here's
Bingo!
one. All the raw testicles that I collected one day, I put them in a margarine container. Remember the old Imperial margarine that had the purple crowns around it? I put them all in there, and I took them to a party, a bush party. You've been there, Moose. You weren't at that one, but you've been to them. And I was going to cook them. I was going to cook them and make people eat them and not tell them what they were till after. But it didn't matter because Philip Kenyon took one, popped it in his mouth, crunched it raw. And he was smiling, and the blood ran down just like this.
He knew what it was?
I will never forget. He knew what it was. Philip Kenyon.
That was Fear Factor before there was Fear Factor with Joe Rogan.
I know. Beer might have been involved. But the next time that we're driving to Montana, I'll show you exactly where it is, because a lot of stuff went down at that site. A lot of stuff. I'm not going to go any further, but just remind me later. I'll tell you about the bikers that were on their way back from Sturgis from the rally that stopped at our party.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a fan of Patrick Roy are you? I'm an 11 out of 10, and the literal translation of Roy is king. Part of the reason I love him so much is that we are very similar, and my guess is the book on Patrick Roy would be very similar to what the book is on me. He's uncontrollable. My dad would be proud of that fact.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show on a Wednesday. Episode number 893 of your favorite daytime sports talk show is coming to you on Game Plus TV and WQEE Radio. YouTube Live for those that are inclined. I've got the howdies already from Medicine Hat. Navy Dawn checking in from Agribition. It's a great tradition where the world meets. We might talk about that later. We got a really big show for you today. Washington Capitals television analyst and one of our closest friends, Alan May, will join us. Longtime NHLer, pride of Edmonton, and the Canadian Football League's East Division most outstanding player, reigning Geno Lewis, is with us. We've got a whole host of wonderful topics to get to here in the Quick Six, but let's bring in Darren Moose Dupont. He is in Toronto, Hogtown, as they like to say, and he's got a sweater on there. Is it cold, Moose? How are things in the Big Smoke, as they like to call it?
Yeah, I was wondering why they call it that, because I look outside and it is foggy and, almost looks smoky. It's not, but it's very foggy and rainy. The clouds are low today. And when I walked to get my coffee, it's only a 5-minute walk, but I did it in the rain. So little chilly, little rainy this morning. So, but it's okay.
Glad to have you aboard. Glad to be talking sports. Glad to be anywhere, as we know in this business. And my mind's a little all over the place today, so bear with me, Moose. And yeah, they're writing in with the topics that they'd like us to get to. Trust me, I think you're going to like them. Can you hit the Quick Six show horn, please, Director Jordan? Or is it Bryce on the controls? That I never know who's running the show back there. All I know is they keep us in the air and they keep us on time. Number one, I've changed it from the NHL morning skate. We're going to call it leftovers. Because whether you're having breakfast or lunch, we'll just call it leftovers. And I kind of forgot that NHL radio made the morning skate famous, thanks to Gord Stellick. So let's call it NHL leftovers. The Calgary Flames spoiled Matthew Tkachuk's return to the Saddledome last night with a 6-2 pummeling of the Florida Panthers. Tkachuk finished without a point in the game. Dylan Dubé had a goal and 2 helpers. Former Panther Jonathan Huberdeau had a goal and 1 assist on the night for the Flames. In other games, a couple notes I wanted to make. Alex Ovechkin netted 2 goals and made history as the Capitals beat Vancouver 5-1. Ovi's second of the night marked his 403rd career road goal, passing Wayne Gretzky for the most all time. And his first on the night gave him 135 career game opening goals. They track that, folks. They track it. And that put him past Jaromir Jagr for first all-time as well. Alan May analyzed that game, and he'll be with us later on to talk about Ovi. Blake Wheeler recorded a hattie and an assist. Connor Hellebuck made 40 saves, and the Winnipeg Jets routed the reigning Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche 5-0. And Kevin Hayes scored 2 goals. Carter Hart made 23 saves. Philly snapped a 10-game losing streak with a 3-1 win over the Islanders. And Nashville, Roman Josi scored the game winner in overtime to give the Preds a 2-1 victory over the Ducks. Troy Terry scored, and John Gibson made 39 saves for the Ducks, losers of 3 straight and 6 of 7. By the way, in hour 2, Sarina Taylor, hockey analyst, is going to be with us here to talk NHL. But, Moose, I said that we would get into who won the trade, the Panthers or the Flames, and I don't even think today you can answer that question. I know we have a lot of viewers tuned in on Game Plus right now in Alberta on TELUS TV. Maybe you want to give us your thoughts, viewers in Alberta, on who won the trade. Or for those of you down in Florida, wasn't the best night. Tkachuk, 0 points. I stayed up for it. It was 3-0 Flames after the first period. I went to bed. This isn't turning around. I don't know. Is it too early to declare in your mind who won the trade? Tkachuk for Huberdeau, Uyghur, Schwint, draft pick. What do you think?
I think we have to wait till the playoffs. I think that was an issue with both of these teams, advancing in the playoffs. And I think that's what both of these teams are built for. So I think when you look at all the criticism, of these two teams, and they've been out of playoff spots, they've been in playoff spots early in the year, I think both of them are saying, look, this is a long-term thing. We're here to make our team deeper and better and try and get over the hump. So wait to judge it till the playoffs. But you look at last night, and, the ovation for Tkachuk was great, then some boos, and it's kind of fun to watch. And Huberdeau obviously played better. They won. Calgary played better. So in the short term, you'd say, Calgary's a better team. They won the trade. But they also played an interesting stat about how good Matthew Tkachuk has been and how well-rounded he's tried to make his game. They showed in the calendar year since January 1st, 2022, only Connor McDavid has more points than Matthew Tkachuk. And it's like 110 for McDavid, and I think 105 for Tkachuk in the calendar year. So the gap isn't that big. And then you got, Austin Matthews right there, a point behind Tkachuk. So sometimes they say who won the trade is the team that got the best player. In that case, it's Florida. But you look at last night, the Flames maybe are a better team.
It was our good friend Jeff O'Neill, the O-Dog, that I think I first heard that. He said whoever gets the best player won the trade, and I'm saying I hadn't heard that before, but I'm not willing to discount it either. I'm watching the Panthers telecast, and for any of our Florida viewers, could you tell me, was I the only one that the sound was dropping in and out? Quite frankly, it doesn't really bother me. I watch most games without sound, but last night I'm trying to listen to Steve Goldstein and Randy Moeller call the game. There was no sound for half the first period, so I don't know what that was all about. But Paul Maurice said, and listen, this is not Panthers and Flames television, but these are the two teams that I picked to be in the Stanley Cup final. They're the two teams where I spend my time, Calgary and South Florida. So I will spend some time on this. And Paul Maurice, the coach of the Panthers, said he wants more low-event games, Darren. He's like, we're taking too many penalties, allowing too many goals, blah, 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 blah. All that happened again last night. They were horrific on special teams, taking bad penalties, and I'm like, you have the talent that you don't need to play boring, Pomo. And they're really getting on Paul Maurice here. But here's the thing. Lastly, they're really missing Alexander Barkov, their captain. He's missed 3 games. They lost 3 games. This team was so talented last year that they could miss a guy or two for stretches and still win because they were that good, and they went on to win the President's Trophy. They're not as good. And that was a great stat you had about Tkachuk. One thing they said on the Panthers broadcast last night was that Tkachuk is off to the best start by a new Panther ever. It's now 29 points in 21 games. Best start for whether he was acquired in a trade or signed, whatever. Not a rookie, but a first-year Panther. Best start ever. So both sides are happy with the trade, and frankly, overall, that's what we want. Can I just say this? When we've been talking about Winnipeg, everybody's been talking about Winnipeg. Mark Scheifele had a goal and 2 assists. Josh Morrissey netted a goal and 1 assist. That was a game after he had a hattie. How far do we see the Jets going? Like, they're not going to keep up this pace forever. No team does, but are we confidently saying they're a playoff team, Moose? What do you think?
I am now. I mean,
yeah?
Why not? We're past U.S. Thanksgiving, and they're not falling off. I mean, we're just past U.S. Thanksgiving. Let's not get crazy here, but they're not falling off.
Yeah.
And I look around the West, and I think Edmonton has showed, cracks in the armor. Colorado has showed cracks in the armor. The Flames obviously have. I go up and down the conference, and I start thinking, why not the Jets? So why not? So far, so good. They do have to keep it rolling, and it can go away just as fast as they got there, but no reason to think that they won't be able to keep this up.
Hey, if this was an NHL-only show, we could spend the full 2 hours on this kind of stuff. Like Oleg in Winnipeg writes, then he says, the Panthers had Andrew Burnett last year and were very good. He sees Burnett has the Devils playing through the roof this year. Maybe they should have kept him. That's not it. Bill Zito, the general manager of the Florida Panthers, knows what he's doing. The only reason Burnett was coaching the Panthers last year was because Joel Quenneville was forced to step down. And I mentioned that on NHL radio yesterday. Who knows how far the Panthers could have gone if Q was their head coach last year. They maybe could have won a Stanley Cup because they got swept in round 2 by Tampa. That's why Bruno was shown the door, and I don't argue with it. So, no. Randy in Winnipeg says, good morning. I think all 32 teams would love to have Matthew Tkachuk in the playoffs. Panthers win the trade. So, there's that. We're going to move on. We've talked about our Jets. We've talked about our Panthers and Flames. By the way, where's my bell? Kinsman Telemiracle 47 online raffle is live now. You can buy your tickets at telemiracle5050.com to buy your tickets. Tickets can be purchased by anyone over the age of 19 that is physically in the province of Saskatchewan at the time of purchase. Draw date is Friday, December 16th. The winner will be announced that day. We've raised over $1 million through this 50-50 raffle alone the last 2 years, so please help out. We talk about Sasky. We're on the air in 70,000 homes in Saskatchewan. That's almost 1 in 10. So we have a very large Saskatchewan imprint. That's where our largest audience is. So get out and prove it. Buy your tickets. By the way, point 2 was who won the trade. And I think right now we both decided it's too early to say. As a matter of fact, both sides are going to claim they won it, which is probably a good thing. You'd like both teams to win a trade. There doesn't always have to be a winner. By the way, sports update, a word from our sponsor, Ito Japan. Delicious Japanese-inspired meals and snacks made to order with high-quality ingredients. I'll just mention this about NBA. The Toronto Raptors, 0.3, head to New Orleans, facing the Pelicans tonight, looking to push their win streak to 3. The Raps saw All-Star Pascal Siakam, Scottie Pippins, and Canadian guard Delano Banton return for their win over the Cavaliers on Monday. Moose was there. Here come the Hawks. Atlanta's at Orlando. The Hawks got to pick it up. 8th in the East. Now, you would have said that's the last playoff spot, but it ain't. Hawks are 11-10. They show the top 10 because the play-in tourney. I love it. The Raptors are 11-9. They're 6th in the East. Why can't the NHL adopt a play-in tourney? This is the greatest thing the NBA's. Now there's way more teams in contention, Darren, for a playoff spot. And as you know, bottom 4, 6 to 10? Yeah, the 6 teams, 6 through 10, qualify for the play-in tournament. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Creates more intrigue, creates a little more drama, gets more communities, more fan bases involved. I think it's great. Why not? Why not do that in hockey? Remember when we had the play-in tournament? It was 24 teams total in the playoffs. Thought that was just,
in the bubble, yeah.
In the bubble. It was so awesome. And you had basically an extra round of playoffs, but why not? I thought it was really cool.
I thought that the NHL would stay with it. I really did. There was an opportunity for more money to be made. I'm shocked that they didn't. How about this one? Tell Camco our NBA coverage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. How about that? Hiring now. Find out everything you need to know about Bronco at broncoplumbing.com and our Facebook and Instagram pages. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the preferred plumbing, heating, and cooling company of the RP show. By the way, we do have CFL coming up, some WHL as well, but point 4 is, got an email from the Arizona Coyotes last night. It read like this, Darren. The Arizona Coyotes issued the following statement regarding Tempe City Council's 7-0 vote, 7-0, to approve the Coyotes Arena and Entertainment District project. Quote from the president of the Coyotes, Xavier A. Gutierrez. He said, this was a great night. The Arizona Coyotes and the Morello family are deeply thankful to the Tempe City Council for their unanimous support and cannot wait to move forward on this transformational development. The Tempe Entertainment District, that's TED, T-E-D, Tempe Entertainment District, will be a huge win for this community, and we have a no doubt that Tempe voters will agree. Our project will turn a landfill into a landmark, and one that not only provides a wonderful home for the Coyotes, but also serves as a vibrant town square for Tempe, generating thousands of sustainable jobs and millions of dollars in tax revenue for the city. We look forward to sharing more information over the coming months, but for now, we are grateful and excited. I said to Moose, we got to get that in there because for whatever reason, our viewers are just fascinated with the Arizona Coyotes arena situation. I think it's just because it's another NHL team, but dovetailing off that into today's poll question, we're running the reverse retro jersey bracket for all 32 teams. We're going to once and for all decide who's the best retro reverse jersey in the National Hockey League. Clark has the graphic. Yesterday, Florida just dummied the Tampa Bay Lightning. Dummied them. Over 80% of the vote voted for the Florida Panthers baby blue palms and pucks logo. You have the jerseys right, Clark? The reverse retros for today's vote. It's the Arizona Coyotes. It's the Arizona Coyotes against the Vegas Golden Knights. He says he has it, and there it is. Listen, I hate that dog on the left logo. I loathe it. On the right, but Vegas is so bloody boring. You couldn't come up with something other than, I'm voting with Arizona. I'm voting, we can bring Moose back. What do you call it? Clark says Vegas is glows in the dark. Who cares? You don't play with the lights off. In protest. I'm voting for Arizona in protest because I don't like the dog. What do you call our intern? Braden had a name for that. That's like Chasine or something. The Chasine logo. What the hell is it? I don't know. I would almost like to abstain from voting, but you got to vote when you have the opportunity to vote. So I will vote for Arizona just because Vegas is so boring. You?
You know, and I like Arizona's. I actually like the dog. It's different for me. I know, right? But I think, was it not the last jersey where they were any good and made a little playoff run? I think they were wearing those. And was Jeremy Roenick not part of that team at the time?
No. They went to the conference final in 2012. No.
Yeah.
Roenick
so I don't know if they were wearing
this
jersey. But were they wearing this jersey in 2012? Doesn't matter. I think it's cool. They got the cacti across the bottom, trim. And I think the problem with Vegas is they haven't been around long enough to have a retro jersey. So they're kind of got to put a jersey into this. Same with Seattle. It would be a crime if Seattle or Vegas won a retro jersey contest. So they should both.
They're not going to. So they're not going to. So it doesn't matter. But the last I saw, what do we got? 57% voting for the Vegas Golden Knights, and that's why we have votes, people, because it's a democracy. But I've seen people write into our show and say, how come Vegas and Seattle have retro reverse jerseys? They're so new. I'm like, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah.
Do nothing? They got to do something. So anyways, we'll be back with the CFL talk. More on this, I have a feeling. Tonight's NHL games. We're having fun. It is the RP. Moose wants to talk about the flags in my backyard, too. Went and picked those babies up today. It is the RP show. We're on YouTube Live. Of course, Game Plus TV and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino Fantasy.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
It is episode 893 of your favorite daytime sports talk show, the RP Show. We're live on Game Plus TV across all 10 provinces, 31 states. And as Kevin the Medium reminded me today, don't forget about the territories on the radio in Metro Atlanta, WQEE. Shout out Rhino Radio. And to whomever's listening on the podcast right now, thanks for joining us. We have Darren Moose DuPont with us, and I just can't get over how much people love talking about the retro jerseys in Arizona for some reason. But our guy, well, Kevin the Medium, regarding our poll, who has the better third, or as Clark said, it's not the third, it's the reverse retro, Arizona or Vegas today. Kevin the Medium says there should be a neither option. And I agree. I would vote for neither, but you can't. You're a politico, Kevin. You would not advocate for anybody voting for that. Jack in Vulcan, Alberta says, guys, it's not a dog, it's a coyote. It's from the dog family. Come on, Jack, loosen up. I have a truth bomb coming with regards to our CFL here, but can I say this? Once we got over the initial laughing at the Coyotes playing in a 5,000-seat barn this year, you don't hear a whole lot about it of late, or at least I don't. Maybe it's because I'm in South Florida. They don't talk a lot of hockey here, but I just don't hear much about that mullet arena. Do you?
No, not really. And I think it's a good thing that we don't hear about it, because if it was bad, we'd hear about it all the time. And we heard about the dressing rooms. So that's out there, what they were dressing in while they were getting things ready to go. But that was only for a short period of time. I think it's okay. I think they've done a nice job getting fans in the building. I think the atmosphere has been pretty good. I've seen a little bit of that. So actually, I think this is okay. And I think the task now is to build momentum towards that new arena. So you have to now continue to fill it, create a ton of excitement, and hopefully, if that team starts to win some games next year and the year after, then potentially you can kind of have new building being built, team getting better. And if they can meet, there's a chance for success.
Well, it's really interesting. And again, I don't know why our viewers and our audience are so fascinated with this situation, but Arizona can be a hockey market. I think about here in South Florida, you never, ever, ever hear about the Marlins. You just don't. And I think they're one of the worst teams for attendance in Major League Baseball. They're crappy. I've spent a lot of time in Arizona. One of my friends used to own the team, and the Phoenicians, the locals, if you will, said, we'd go to the game. They haven't made the playoffs in 10 years. Put a team on the ice, and we'll fill this place. But then the owners want to say, it's a bad hockey market. Trust me, I've talked to them. So maybe building a new arena will help, but it would be nice to make the playoffs once a generation, too. By the way, New York Fries is a proud member of the Calgary community, and to give back, they're hosting free public skating opportunities at ice rinks around Calgary, open to families and the general public, and support for Kids Sport Calgary. Visit FamilyYYC.com, FamilySkateYYC.com for a full list of times and locations presented by New York Fries. Trust me, we got the junior hockey talk coming up. I see a lot of people that are chiming in on that, but here's our daily CFL note. And by the way, can you tell me anywhere in North America that's talking about the CFL daily other than us? So for anybody that says we are anti-CFL or don't like it, it's a lie. We talk about it all the time, more than anybody else. And Farhan Lalji at TSN reported, I saw this somewhere, I think it was 3 Down's Instagram, that a new contract is, what they say, agreed to for Mike O'Shea in Winnipeg. And I'll say, we've talked about this yesterday, because again, nobody talks about the CFL more than us. O'Shea, you don't want to leave a winning program. Not many do. He can't go anywhere for more money because of the inane salary operations cap and all those restrictions. You know that, Darren. So why would O'Shea leave? And why, for that matter, is anybody leaving? Willie Jefferson, I saw this quote from him the other day after he signed. He said he wants to leave a legacy there like Milt Stegall and Doug Brown. Willie, you probably already have, but let's just let him. You know what I mean? He's won 2 Grey Cups. What more do you want? Most outstanding defensive player. You're good, Will. But Big Hill's not leaving. Patrick Neufeld's not leaving. Nobody wants to leave Winnipeg. Here's where I said the truth bomb in the CFL, Darren. And this is what the football people are talking about in my circles. Next year's West Division. I'm sure you haven't even thought about it because it's not even December yet. But you think Winnipeg's probably number 1 coming back, because why wouldn't they be? Calgary's going to be better. I got to put them in second. They decided on their quarterbacks, and none of them is named Bo Levi Mitchell. They're happy with Jake Mayer and Tommy Stevens. I think BC's going to be better even without Nathan Rourke. They'll have somebody. Edmonton's going to be better because it's Chris Jones. They're past the worst of the rebuild. They almost caught Sask this year as it is. I think the Saskatchewan Roughriders are going to be last place in the CFL West Division this year, because I don't see where else they fit in. You?
Hard to, that's a truth bomb. It caught me off guard. And it's a good one, because, where do they fit in, right? It'd be crazy to think they're going to be better than BC, Calgary, or Winnipeg, right? I mean, the only question is where do they fit between them and Edmonton? Really hard to say. And a lot of decisions have to be made between now and the start of the season. So get the work cut out for them between, hiring an offensive coordinator and what they do in free agency and what they do at quarterback. They got the biggest question mark at quarterback. So a lot of questions to be answered right now. Like in Edmonton, they seem to be pretty happy with Taylor Cornelius. So they have a quarterback. I mean, BC doesn't really. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with Nathan Rourke, if he's going to have an opportunity to sign in the NFL. But they'll bring Vernon Adams Jr. back, or they will be okay there's not a huge question mark, but in Saskatchewan there is. So yeah, it's a lot of intrigue there, and I don't know where they slot it.
I'm so sorry that I didn't tell you. How could I have told you I was going to bring it up? I didn't know I was going to bring it up. That's why that's why people love this show so much, right, Kevin the Medium? As our advisor said today, there's nothing else like this show on television or radio anywhere. You know, whatever pops into our head is what we talk about. So I'd love to hear from the viewers and the audience what you think will be the CFL West Division standings next year. By the way, on the way, Alan May, Washington Capitals analyst, Geno Lewis, reigning CFL East Division most outstanding player, and Sarina Taylor coming up in hour 2. And by the way, speaking of truth bombs, she's just outright nuclear with her opinions. And I'm like, just going off with all these things about Tkachuk and the Oilers and the Flames and the Panthers. I'm like, save it till we get on it. So that's coming up in hour 2. I was John Ohm in Winnipeg says Tom Brady to play in the CFL next year. When Brady said that, I was like, oh no. We all know what happened. The Bucks went over to Germany and won, and Tom's now won in Germany, England, the USA, Mexico. And what did he say? Now I got to win in Canada. It'll be 5 countries. And I'm like, no, they're going to take you serious. He was already out of his mouth. Unless you actually think Tom Brady's going to sign in the Canadian Football League.
No, he would need to get kicked out of the NFL first. Like literally kicked out. Have to have some sort of suspension or some sort of, Ricky Williams situation to get kicked out of the league. And that's not happening. So not happening.
Yeah. What a wonderful segment this has been, by the way. A lot of fun. People are chiming in. Frank Salazar writes on YouTube, watching the Panthers is like waiting for my wife to be a good wife. Why am I married? Here's the thing, Frank.
Oh, no.
That's on you. But I'm not one to sit here and give marital advice to anybody. But, yeah, the Panthers are a microcosm wrapped up in a riddle, an enigma wrapped up in a whatever. You know what I mean? It was, some franchises just have bad luck. I got down here last year at a really good time. They were rolling. Joel Quenneville was the coach when I first got here. That's how long I've been here. And he stepped down. I'm going to tell you, it was an absolute earthquake within the organization. Now they're getting used to a new coach, and the fans are getting upset, man. They didn't like Paul Maurice when they hired him because they didn't know him. It was like Chicago Blackhawks fans booing the pick of Kirby Dach at number 3 overall. Remember that in the draft? I'm like,
yeah.
You've never watched him play. You can't even spell Kirby Dach. What are you doing booing him? Chicago fans. Which, by the way, I promised that I was going to talk about some dub, didn't I? Jennifer at the Four Seasons says, maybe Tom wants to come up here to find himself a good Canadian girl to take back to Tampa with him. LOL. Are you offering, Jen?
How about that?
I bet you Tom ain't going to be on the market for long. Dale Berazuk in Winnipeg writes in and says, hello, crew. Jack's Christmas concert tonight. That's his son. Very excited. First in 3 years. Have only played 4 games there. What are we talking about? He says, you lost me, Dale. Northside YEG in Edmonton says, where's Nathan Rourke going? Well, isn't that the question? Let's get on the CFL Insiders and ask them where Nathan Rourke's going. He had a bunch of workouts. Well, you could probably spit on one right now, Darren. Why don't you ask Dunk where Nathan Rourke's going, if you don't mind?
I'll ask him in the break and we'll find out.
Yeah, ask him in the break where Nathan Rourke, he's going, they say, to the National Football League. And I think this might be a commentary that I'll do one day. It is what I would like to see the CFL do. Because I'm not going to be like a lot of the football people and sit around and talk about ifs and nuts and Merry Christmas. Do you know what I mean? They'd like to see guys get the $1 million contract, the marquee player like they had in the 90s. I'd like to see this. I'd like to see that. I'd rather talk about who's playing. It's a 6-month offseason in the CFL. I'm not going to sit around and talk about this crap. But there's a lot of things that I would like to see in the Canadian Football League, and that'll be in a commentary. I'm not going to sit here and do it today. But right now I'm just killing time until I call up last night's WHL scores. And this is for the Dub fans. I told you that I had Wi-Fi issues today. How about those Regina Pats, though, by the way? God's team is mopping the floor with the province of British Columbia. And you know what? Maybe I'll save it later for the sports update. But, I'm following the Pats, and that's about it. They're 12-11, 1-1. They're going to probably be in the playoffs. But your Blades, what is up with they're better, right? They're better than the Pats.
They are. They've been ranked inside, the CHL top 10. They've been playing really well. Had a great Pride jersey night that is great to recognize. They had that last week, I believe. Looked awesome. Great turnout when the Pats came through there with Connor Bedard. And so it's awesome. And on the Pats train with Bedard, what's awesome about it is I'm watching. It might as well be a Beatles concert tour. Because they're going to Vancouver, selling out the LEC. They're going to Kelowna, selling out that rink. They're going everywhere, and it's just sell it after sell it after sell it after sell it after sell it. If I'm the Regina Pats, I'd call every team in the league, and I'd say, look, let's split the gate here, and we'll never play at home the rest of the year. You can have all the home games, and I would just keep them on the road.
Of course, because they're selling out on the road and can't sell out at home. Figure that one out. Alexander Suzdalov, who, by the way, is a Capitals prospect, I believe, capped the 2-goal, 2-assist effort by scoring the game-winning goal, 3:07 into overtime, as the Regina Pats edged the Kelowna Rockets 6-5 on Tuesday. Connor Bedard had an assist. That's bellworthy. And the Pats are 3-0 in BC. Meanwhile, Atley Calvert scored 2 goals. Denton Matejchuk had a goal and 4 helpers, and the Moose Jaw Warriors cruised past lowly Victoria 8-3. I didn't say it. The Wire Story Canadian Press said that they're the lowly Victoria Royals. There was just 2 games in the dub last night. Moose, I'll see you back here in an hour. No, you're done. You're done, Moose. What are you going to do for the rest of the day?
I'm going to probably get a bunch of work done and then see what this great city has to offer before the Leafs and the Sharks tonight.
I'll say hey to Maisie for you.
Thank you.
All right, Alan May of the Washington Capitals television crew is coming up next. It is the RP Show. We're on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and on the radio, Metro Atlanta, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of time. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse is a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Hey, it is the RP Show on a gorgeous day here in the South. By the way, a shout out to my guy, Rich Sutter's just texted he's watching in Lethbridge, Alberta on TELUS. Hey-o, Richie, on Game Plus TV. You got to get you on here sooner than later. There were 9 games in the NHL on Tuesday night. In Vancouver, Alex Ovechkin netted 2 goals and made history as the Washington Capitals slapped around Vancouver 5-1. Ovi's second of the night was his 403rd career road goal, passing Wayne Gretzky for the most all-time. Alan May analyzes Capitals games on television out there, and he joins us today. It's been far too long, Maisie, although I can tell that you've been very busy. How you doing, my man? First of all, how are you doing? What's up?
I'm doing great. You know what? When I'm working and I'm busy pretty much every day. I'm the happiest. And, you know, I have a great off season, but I love when the season starts and I get back to doing this. And I want to say hi to Rich Sutter. He's an incredible guy. I love seeing him, and I miss traveling with the team. And, you know, he's one of the highlights of going into Calgary.
Yeah, you guys would have knocked heads in the odd corner, I'm sure, back in the day, for sure. Alan, can you take us inside? From the outside, I'm looking at the Capital situation going, it's all about Ovi and the chase. What's it like following this team day in and day out and game in and game out that way?
Well, you know, the biggest thing is that Ovi wants to win. And, you know, for a guy that was doubted for so long about, you know, not wanting to win the Stanley Cup, and there were people taking pot shots at him, usually older media types, you know, whether they're on TV or print guys or what have you with social media now. And the guys always put up great playoff numbers, and we saw the passion that he exuded the year that they won the Cup. And right now, he's learned, though, to enjoy these moments. Like last night, the quote from him was, anytime you can pass Wayne Gretzky for a record, it's an amazing day and it's an amazing part. So he's cherishing all this. And, you know, he collects sticks from all the players in the National Hockey League. He's a true hockey fan and rink rat. And I'm surprised, and maybe he does have all the Sutter sticks, but he's that rabid of a hockey guy. And people don't understand that. But as far as following the team, the biggest thing with him right now is, you know, he wants to score goals. He's actually always wanted to score every playoff goal, every game-winning goal. He's got that drive. But right now with the team kind of going up and down with so many injuries, you know, there's frustration. So that, you know, it's frustrating to watch the team. And then, you know, if they can hang out at 500 until they get Tom Wilson back, Nick Backstrom back. At one point for about 3 weeks, they were down $40 million in salary. But then you get back, all of a sudden, you know, you get a home game, and, you know, they're a lot better team at home when they can change last, you know, with the lineup and the roster that they have. And then last night they go into Vancouver and they got drubbed by New Jersey the other night. They had a bad game, and then they go in there and, you know, once again, he provides these incredible memories, and he goes out there, gives the team confidence. They all played with the passion that the big guy did last night. So it's one night you're watching this team struggle because there's so many good players out of the lineup, and then there's Ovi magic every few nights, and every single night this season, he's passed someone in some category in the offensive categories in the National Hockey League.
But do you not think that when he gets closer, and it seems like it's just inevitable that he'll pass the big record of Wayne's, it'll be like Aaron Judge, and you remember the 90s with McGuire chasing that Maris record and so forth. Like, can you imagine? It seems like a circus now. What do you think it's going to be like when he gets that close?
It's going to be amazing. And, you know, and everywhere around the league, everyone's going to be filling the arenas to see if they're there for that goal. I think right now he's 101 goals away from tying Wayne Gretzky. He's at 793. He's played, 1,298 games. There's always a different number, so it's hard to memorize what he's up to. But, 800 is a huge number because I remember where I was when he scored 400, when he scored 500, 600, 700, all of these different milestones. So 800, 801, 802, 803. And then every game after that, people are going to be waiting and holding their breath. And he keeps defying the odds. 37 years old. He's pumping goals in left and right. Last year, the oldest player ever to score 50. And he's not supposed to be doing this. And I remember years ago, before Barry Trotz became the coach, I remember someone at Sportsnet penning something that said, maybe it's time the Capitals cut bait. This guy doesn't want to win. And, there was all types of sabotage within the organization at the time with, people that were in decision-making positions, and they got rid of those people. And all of a sudden, everyone's in line. You would rather go to war with Ovi than try to do all of this without him. And he's continued to provide and be an incredible teammate and an inspiration around here. He plays injured. He's played injured a lot of his career, but he always brings his best.
Capitals are not in a playoff spot as we sit here today, nor for that matter are Florida, and the two of them met in round one last year. Do you expect both to get in, one of those two, or neither?
Well, I still think this season, a lot of people always talk about American Thanksgiving. Well, the league started 2 weeks later, and I think the biggest thing for the Capitals right now is to get above 500 and try to climb out until they get players back. And I think probably at this point in the Capitals players' careers that are no longer in the lineup, Tom Wilson is the scariest player that they have. He can change a game in a heartbeat, whether it's on a forecheck, a hit, a fight. But the guy has some skill. I believe he scored 24 goals last year. He's a legitimate 20-goal scorer. He's fast. He brings a pace and a tempo to the game. He's a top six player. So all of a sudden you start to add the depth. At one point this season, they were without Tom Wilson, TJ Oshie, and Connor Brown, who they left 4 games in. The right wing was the strongest part of this team going into the season. And then you're going to get Nick Backstrom back, who had a different surgery than everyone else who's had this hip injury, and he's almost back, ready to play. And he's got no pain in his hip for the first time, I think, since 2015 or 2016. He's able to do the everyday things like pick up his kids, actually tie his shoes, take his shoes off, tie his skates. And I think when you get these players back, all of a sudden they're a completely different team because you're going to take players in the lineup and they're going to drop down. And then all of a sudden you're going to have your legit top 6 guys there. They're going to be very formidable. And all of a sudden I believe within a 2-week period, all of a sudden they're knocking on the playoff door. They're going to be in one of those wild card spots, but they can't let themselves get too far below the equator here. They were 3 games below. They battled back 2 home wins, won 3 of the last 4, played an ugly game in New Jersey and lost the other night. So because Alexander Ovechkin's on this team, and you take the guy that was one of the biggest leaders in the dressing room, Nick Backstrom, he will be back soon. The new leader of the team, the guy that'll probably be the captain if Ovi decides to retire before he's 100, will be Tom Wilson. You add those players back with the quality of goaltending that they're getting. I think all of a sudden we're going right down the last weekend of the season to see if this team is a wild card team or not.
Hey, listen, we're almost out of time, but Richie Sutter has texted me and says, hi to Al. Love watching him in all caps. All caps. How about that? You get the irony, Maisie? How much fun? Listen, I want to end it with this. How much fun was the Centennial Cup in Estevan in May? Like,
what? Best. It's so amazing. It's amazing, and how kind and sweet the people are there. The sense of volunteerism that each and every person has in that town. The arena that they have is one of the best, if not the best, in Canada for that size. But the passion that the people put forward, it was amazing. I love being there with all of you guys, and I wish we could do that every year. Except I want to be in some Stanley Cup runs with my team here and continue. I don't know if we got any more of those left, but I sure hope we do. But it was great being back home. I hadn't been in the junior rink during junior games for so long, and it was great. And then all of a sudden, you start to remember all the things you used to do, all the dumb things you used to do, and the big nights you had on the ice. Memory lane was good, and being back with all of our old friends was incredible.
I just got to tell you, I was having breakfast with Jeff and Mel Pearson a month ago, and they said, "How did we do as a town?" And I said, 10 out of 10. If nobody's ever going to top that, you get it, Alan. So listen, love talking with you. Let's do it more and keep up the great work, my man.
Yeah, take care. Thanks, Rod.
The great Alan May from Washington Capitals Television. We'll be back with a sports update and viewer takeover next. It's the RP Show, Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Peterson. Text 902-518-3033.
All right. We're back. It's viewer takeover, and we're going to do that as much as we can. I'm going to tell you right now, Sarina Taylor coming up in hour 2, and it's going to be a heck of a lot of hockey. 100% with her. And Montreal Alouettes receiver CFL East Division Most Outstanding Player Eugene Lewis is going to be with us. Geno Lewis. I meant to put in my notes today, we can do it tomorrow. The NLL season is starting up. I just saw the Sask Rush Instagram page. 3 days until the home opener. 3 days. So I'm seeing a little bit of buzz about the National Lacrosse League, and heavens knows we got teams all over, except for here in South Florida. But we got one in our listening audience in the Atlanta area, of course. Teams all across Canada, the United States. So we'll talk some NL. But are you getting into it? I hope that you are. Sports update. John Herdman says he wants to remain coach of Canada's national men's team through the 2026 World Cup in North America after leading the nation to its return to soccer's top tournament. In the World Cup for the first time since 1986, Canada outplayed Belgium in an opening 1-0 loss and then took a second-minute lead against Croatia before losing 4-1 and getting eliminated. Canada closes against Morocco on Thursday. Toronto and Vancouver are among the host cities for the 2026 tournament. This is exciting. Blue Jays news. They have hired former Yankees great Don Mattingly as the team's bench boss. Mattingly spent 7 seasons as manager of the Miami Marlins and was named Skipper of the Year back in 2020, but he was fired in September following 2 losing seasons. This sports update for Edo, Japan. From hand-rolled sushi to bento box meals made with their famous teriyaki sauce, Edo, Japan's menu has something for everyone. Doesn't that sound great for lunch? And we're also brought to you by Kinsman Telemiracle, the 47th Kinsman Telemiracle, the 3rd online 50-50 raffle. It's live now. We're asking you to get your tickets and support the great Kinsman Foundation of Saskatchewan. Telemiracle5050.com is where you buy your tickets. You have to be physically in Saskatchewan to purchase your tickets and over the age of 19. If you're not, get somebody to do it for you and e-transfer them the money. We'll make the draw on Friday, December the 16th. Thank you for doing that. They love it, and probably we'll get into this with Sarina next hour. They just love the 2 topics, the Arizona arena situation with the Coyotes and the jerseys. Rich Sutter texting my personal phone, but also the show line, the 902 line. Rich Sutter, 13 years in the National Hockey League, and just an all-around great guy, member of hockey's first family. He writes in, he's watching in Lethbridge. He says, you yahoos, we need that barn in Tempe. We're going to talk about that. Well, clearly they need a new arena. They can't play in a 5,000-seat arena forever. I don't know what's taken so long, why this is different. Maybe, Clark, who do we know in Arizona besides the business manager, the former commissioner of the NLL? Maybe he'll come on and talk about it. Nick Sakevich. We'll get somebody and see why is this time different than all the other times. Regarding our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, last minute of play in hour 1. Who, on day 2 of our retro reverse jersey bracket, who's got the better jersey, the Arizona Coyotes or the Vegas Golden Knights? I voted for Arizona under protest. I don't like either one of them. Craig in Calgary watching on Game Plus says, I absolutely love the old Coyotes logo because of its New Mexico and the indigenous of the area. Great jersey. But also, personally, the Coyotes remain one of my favorite teams, too. Signed, Craig in Calgary. For the longest time, they were my 3rd favorite team. They might probably be right now my 4th favorite team. They're up there, but I don't like that logo. It's just me. I'm not willing to fight over it. But the Vegas one's just blah. Anyways, get those votes in. It's around 50-50 right now, interestingly enough, for both teams. Talking a lot of hockey next hour. Stick around after this short break on Game Plus. YouTube Live and WQEE.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Easy snacking all around. something everyone can love.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a fan of Patrick Roy are you? I'm an 11 out of 10, and the literal translation of Roy is king. Part of the reason I love him so much is that we are very similar, and my guess is the book on Patrick Roy would be very similar to what the book is on me. He's uncontrollable. My dad would be proud of that fact.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. It's hour 2 of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show, and you are seeing something a little different. Hello, Sarina.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm well. You?
Good to see you again. You ready to talk hockey?
Always.
You always are ready to talk
always
hockey.
Ready.
For our viewers that don't know, the very first ever female play-by-play broadcaster in Canada. How about that? You like that introduction, don't you?
That was not what I was expecting.
I know you weren't. It just popped into my head this morning. Like, that would be a pretty good way to introduce her here into hour 2 on Game Plus Television, WQEE. She's been on the air with us where? World Juniors, the Beach House. She's our hockey analyst. So it's a very big hockey day. There were 9 games in the National Hockey League last night. There are 4 tonight, including her Edmonton Oilers at the Chicago Blackhawks. But I'm not averse to rewinding, talking about what went down last night in the NHL. And before we go any further, we do have a poll question that's up today. And I never did hear, if you guys want to flash up the graphic here, of both Capital and the jerseys. We're running a bracket. Once and for all, we're going to decide who's the best retro reverse jersey in the National Hockey League. Yesterday, Florida just pummeled Tampa. Destroyed him. If only they could do that on the ice. Today, it's Arizona versus Vegas for the best retro jersey out of the two desert teams in the National Hockey League. And to be honest, on Twitter, last I saw, 57% voted for the Vegas Golden Knights, that thing. And with Arizona, I don't care for that dog logo. Are you guys back there? Do you have a YouTube vote that you can pass along? I haven't heard from anybody back there.
I voted for Vegas on Facebook.
Did you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because that color is hideous.
The orange?
Yeah. It's
what is it, Clark? What do you got? 57% Arizona on YouTube, 57% Vegas on YouTube. So no, I'm sorry, they were talking to my ear while you were talking.
You're good.
You don't like the color?
No. It's not, I don't know. It's just not my favorite. I generally prefer the simplicity of a jersey, so that's why I like the Vegas one. It's basic.
Florida won yesterday, and I don't know how this is going to wind up. You got another 23 hours basically to put in your vote for Arizona or Vegas. We're going to run them all. I think this is going to run us all winter. So listen, the number is there, 902-518-3033. If you want to talk jerseys, you want to talk about other things. It's going to be a great hockey discussion here in hour two. And then later on, the reigning East Division most outstanding player of the Canadian Football League's Montreal Alouettes, Geno Lewis, is going to be with us to talk a little ball. Now, we'll get to the viewer comments in a moment, but going back to last night, I want your thoughts on this. You saw the build-up. Now, actually, let's walk back to Monday night. Stop. Do you want to just take it away?
I've been told I'm not filtered.
By who?
By you.
You didn't know that?
How about that?
Listen, the dyed-in-the-wool Oilers fan over here who's in South Florida and not the biggest Florida Panthers fan. Listen, I said she's nuclear. Matthew Tkachuk going back to Alberta. Go.
What did he expect? I know he expected that. I feel he knew what he was doing going into Edmonton, putting his hand up on his ear. And the first goal of the game, I'm like, I don't understand why somebody would get cocky like that in a place like Edmonton. I don't know, your first game back somewhere like that, even Chris Pronger flew it under the radar, and Oiler fans despise him. Like, why wouldn't you just chill out for a little bit?
Continue.
And then his blowing a tire in overtime, I don't really think anybody was going to stop McDavid and Draisaitl in a 3-on-3 anyway, but let's be honest, it just was icing on the cake. It was fantastic.
So what they're saying in Alberta, what I heard out of Calgary, where we spent half our time at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, and by the way, I'll get to the viewer comments in a moment, but that there wasn't enough build-up time from the Edmonton game for the Panthers going into Calgary, because it was the very next night. You know what I'm saying?
So what?
Well, the game was sold out anyways. They're just saying there wasn't as much hype as maybe they would have liked. And then...
Did the schedule just get released the day before?
No, I know, but Tkachuk doesn't have a point. The Panthers get spanked 6-2. They're down 3-0 after the first period. And so it was exactly what we thought it would be, and Ryan Leslie thought it would be, who was on here yesterday from Sportsnet Flame. Some cheers, some boos, but overall, let's move on. Johnny Gaudreau's going to get a lot of heat when he comes back in January.
Absolutely.
But Tkachuk did not.
Yeah, I think that with Tkachuk, I mean, from what the sounds of it, they kind of were happy at the start. They applauded him softly and then kind of booed him every time he touched the puck. But that's the way it's going to be when you leave a Canadian team and go somewhere else.
Kevin the Medium's watching. You know him?
I know Kevin very well.
In Alberta, he says, okay, I got to say it. Sarina's on the wrong side. I know. Stay in my lane.
How about that?
I didn't tell you to stay in your lane. I've said... 1,000,000 times, I'll say it 1,000,001. I'm the radio guy. I don't know how stuff looks. So next time, do you want to switch? Maybe even the next segment, switch, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. Just listen, okay? Just enjoy. Now, Jennifer at the Four Seasons says, did he get booed in Calgary? I didn't see the game.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, not a ton. Well, and Jennifer brings up the karma train came in and ran him off the tracks, being cheeky in Edmonton, which you just covered. Yeah. But that is Matthew Tkachuk. That's just the way that he is. He's not the first guy to be like that.
Not surprised. I just don't understand why somebody would do that. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you want to get cocky at the end, I'm like, okay, but the first goal, he was just... I don't know. Anybody that ever played for the Flames, though, to me, is not in my fan book. So it doesn't really matter.
Producer Clark telling me, don't worry about moving Rod. Let's just leave it. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Clark.
From the producer of the show. We're going to talk about the Winnipeg Jets. They clubbed Colorado last night 5-0. Our number 2 city for viewership is Winnipeg. Number 3 is Calgary. But I want to ask you what I asked the viewers last hour. Can we determine the winner of the trade yet? As we sit here today, Calgary or Florida?
I will
trade.
always stand by the fact that Calgary won. I still feel Calgary won this trade. We're not even, halfway through the season. It's way too early to tell. I think that Huberdeau hasn't really found his stride yet. And Tkachuk is the right fit for the players that they have on Florida's team. But I don't think Florida is gritty enough. That's just my opinion.
They got a lot of work to do. And it was a wonderful interview last hour with Alan May, because as we sit here right now, Alan May, the former Capital, and he's now on their TV broadcast, I said, both Florida and Washington are out of a playoff spot today. Did they both get in, one get in, or neither? And he thinks one will, and there's still a lot of hockey to be left. Could you imagine both those teams missing?
You know what's really funny is they're not the only teams that are sitting on that verge of not getting in a playoff spot, but they have guys performing on their team. Ovechkin performs every game. To be fair, Tkachuk is performing for Florida. There's teams like that out there that are sitting there like that.
We'll take your hockey comments because we asked for them. I put the gong up on the away, so we'll just say John watching in Winnipeg says, I want to see the Winnipeg Jets in the playoffs. This city is craving playoff hockey. Whiteout. Sure, John, like they haven't been there in 100 years. It hasn't been that long.
It's like been a year, I think.
Every team's craving playoff hockey. I get it, but not everybody can be in the playoffs, and that includes the San Jose Sharks. Ted in Red Deer says, great to see Sarina again. You guys got any thoughts on the comeback of Erik Karlsson this year? He seems rejuvenated.
I'll tell you what. I firmly believe that Erik Karlsson is, I think if he played in a market that was a little bit more hockey exposed, he'd be a completely different person. He's such a great hockey player. He's
fantastic.
Unbelievable. But I think going from Ottawa to San Jose or whatever, nobody really cares. And injury just bit him. But yeah, I think he's unbelievable.
They say the best skater since Paul Coffey. This is what I've heard. It's pretty darn good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really look at how guys skate or whatever. Like you look at, especially with a defenseman, when you can say that about a defenseman, like we watch Victor Hedman all the time. And I personally think he's a terrible skater. He's just not a fast player because he's so large. It takes a lot to move that mass. But yeah, I would say Karlsson, he's not quite near as big as Hedman, and he just moves a lot better. Yeah, I agree with that.
Breaking news. Thank you, Ryan in New York, for passing it along. The Pittsburgh Penguins have announced that defenseman Chris Letang is out indefinitely after suffering a stroke on Monday. This will be his second, and all we can say is we wish him well. Chris Letang and the Letang family wish him the best and a speedy recovery. I can't believe he came back to the degree that he has from the first one. Hopefully he can do the same here. Jenna's watching in Southern California and says, I want some Sabres playoff hockey. Now we're getting somewhere. They got the longest drought in the National Hockey League.
Do they ever? But probably the most talented group of young players in the league right now. Just watching the highlights the other night, I was super impressed.
Do you want to grab the gong? John,
if
you don't, well, he's got a lot of good comments here, and I feel like you don't want, if you don't.
I'll get it.
Get
it.
But
we got all set up.
Yeah. We just jump on that thing like it's a saddle. You're good. All right. Okay, John, there's the reason I had to read this one. I wouldn't have normally. He says, I'm also craving some Hooters wings. You know what made me think of that? The Nina Cup.
We could go to Hooters today, too, actually. Bingo! Going to
Thank
Hooters
you, John.
after this.
Thank
Bingo.
you. Haven't been there in over a year.
Let's go.
I haven't been there at all.
I've been to the Hooters here in Boca, but yeah, it's been a long time.
And it's 1:11 Eastern.
It is.
We're going right off into the ditch here, which is what I expected would happen. Well, like I said, we can take the gloves off. I want to say this about Florida. We have plenty of time left in this segment, but I really think, and I know this will cause an argument, but I'm okay with it, that they're missing Alexander Barkov, their captain. He's missed 3 games. They've lost 3 games. Last year, you watched the games last year. They were so good, they could miss some guys and still win. They're not good enough this year that they can miss their captain and still win without him, my opinion.
My opinion, and I've said this for years, and I think Barkov is overrated. I don't think Barkov is a difference maker on that team. I just don't. He doesn't put up a ton of points. He's never in the right place at the right time. He's smart and he's talented. He's like better off. He doesn't have to work that hard. But I just don't really think he's the difference maker on that Panthers team. I really don't.
I'll explain overrated, because there are those that will say he's the most skilled player in the National Hockey League, period. You've seen him live. He's pretty damn good. When you define overrated, he shouldn't be captain. He shouldn't be making $8.5 million a year. What?
All of the above. This is just the snob coming out in me. Having a Canadian captain is just going to lead you to more success. It's been proven. There's very few teams that have won a Stanley Cup that don't have a Canadian captain. And I don't care what nationality. He's got nothing to do with that. But he doesn't stand out on the ice. It's not saying he doesn't get the job done, but he really doesn't get the job done. You've had him for the captain for how long? They were terrible for years. They won the President's Cup last year and then choked in the playoffs, and now they're out of a playoff spot. At what point do you say, if the coach is held accountable, at what point is the captain held accountable?
Fair. The Barflies watching says, you tell him, Sarina. Listen, she doesn't need any encouragement. She's fine.
Oh, please bring it.
And while I have you here, what about those that say, what's wrong with the Oilers? It wasn't that long ago that they were in a swoon. Then they come back and score 4 in the third period. You beat the Rangers the other night. They come back and beat the Florida Panthers. Is there anything wrong with the Edmonton Oilers besides the fact that Evander Kane's hurt?
No. I'm not obsessed with our goaltending. I hope Campbell comes into his own a little bit, but I'm seeing like that's probably, I would say, the missing puzzle piece, like it always is since Grant Fuhr left. Bill Ranford, I guess, was my favorite goaltender. So after he left, that was pretty much it. But no, I don't think there's anything wrong with them. They've been on the road a lot. They lost a few games, but they had 2 big comebacks. It always depends. I watched them play here when they were here against Florida, and it depends whether or not Draisaitl's in the game. There's a really good chance McDavid's always in the game, but if Draisaitl is rolling, that's when the team is rolling.
Do you see them making it to the Final Four this year, or even winning the Stanley Cup?
Well, I would have never saw it at this point last year. If somebody would have told me Mike Smith was going to stand on his head in the playoffs and take us to the conference final, probably not, but maybe.
Kevin, the medium, says, wow, I think we need a daily shot of Sarina. Bottle it up, sell it.
I know. Been trying for years.
Yeah. By the way, before we break and we'll come back, and I knew that the segment would get spicy. For those that don't know, we have a little more than a minute. The very first female play-by-play broadcaster in Canada was her. And what was it? 18 years ago? We just had the newspaper articles forwarded to us not that long ago. What does it mean to you to have that status?
Honestly, nothing. I don't think about it very often because I knew that I was talented enough to do it. And I don't see it as, a female. Everything is so female driven that I don't really think like that. It's an honor. Don't get me wrong. I was very blessed to do what I was doing in that regard. I just loved what I did.
Well, we hired her. She did a great job, but probably far too far ahead of her time.
Potentially.
With what's going on now. So we'll take your questions. We've got sports updates coming up. We have Geno Lewis of the Montreal Alouettes coming up as well. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and on the radio, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I gotta hit the beat.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Golf, Hawaii, and the Four Seasons. Imagine picking up your clubs and feeling like a pro for one whole week in paradise. Well, you can get that chance this December with 5-star accommodations, a 3-day tournament at a championship course, and loads of VIP experiences. The Pro Leisure Golf Tour is going to make you feel like a pro, even if your golf game doesn't. So whether you're looking to grab your golfing buddies for a tropical getaway or just wanting to find an exclusive VIP experience to take part in, the PLGT is perfect for you.
All right, as we're talking hockey on a Wednesday in Paradise, episode number 893 of your favorite daytime sports talk shows coming at you. I did as much as I could, guys. As I said, I'm not the lighting guy. We'll get this thing fixed, all right, Sarina? It's all about the sound, however. Kevin the Medium says we need to have you daily, not just once a week. What's your rate? Couldn't afford you.
Yeah.
Were you about to say that?
No, I was going to say you couldn't handle me.
Yeah, that's true, too. The poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal, I think that looks fine, for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is, what's the best out of these two teams reverse retro jersey, the Arizona Coyotes or the Vegas Golden Knights? Can you throw the jersey up again, Clark? Are you able to do that? I know I'm asking for things on the fly here, and I probably shouldn't. But Vegas is leading with 54% of the vote, and I guess this shouldn't surprise anybody, even that's been watching this show that knows the two of us. I voted for Arizona. She voted for Vegas. We don't agree on it. This might be split right down the middle. Yeah, Clark says it's about 50-50 on YouTube. Now, this show's about to get as spicy as a chicken sandwich because we've been talking NHL and so forth, but we're going to get into junior here. The Regina Pats are sweeping BC. They won in Kelowna last night, 6-5 in overtime. They're at Kamloops tonight. And from what we're understanding, the Moose was telling us last hour, it's like the Beatles. Everywhere the Pats go on the road, they're selling out arenas to watch Connor Bedard. You now know where I'm going with this, and I told you to be ready. Because you watched Connor Bedard at the World Juniors in Edmonton, and you have an opinion.
I was underwhelmed. That's my opinion. I feel like, well, he definitely has a talent. And remember when Jordan Tutu was in the league? He did the same thing. Everywhere he went, people were lined up for autographs. Rinks were sold out. And, okay, whatever. Like, I can get on it. But I think with Bedard, from what I saw at the juniors, he's playing at a completely different level than playing in the Western League. The Western League is tough. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't think the effort was there. And I'm an effort guy. You don't ever see Connor McDavid lay off the gas, ever. And I didn't see that with Bedard. Now, I don't get a chance to watch him right now. He should be wheeling laps around guys in the Western League. But at the World Juniors, it was a completely different game. So as far as how's he going to do? Where's he going to go in the draft? We had this discussion the other day too. Who knows?
From Jeff Gordon on YouTube says, finally, someone said it.
Yeah, I've been saying it since Christmas, or the World Juniors were in Christmas, August. I'm just not, I get it. He can skate circles around everybody, but.
And has a great shot.
Yeah, oh my goodness. I mean, his shot is ridiculous, but you know what? It's not that much better than anybody else at his level in Canada. It's good. But I don't think it's Austin Matthews good. I don't think it's McDavid good.
We'll get to your questions for Sarina in a second, but I just want to fulfill the viewers with your thought, and listeners too on WQEE, where they're surprisingly interested in Connor Bedard than you would think in Atlanta, but they are because they're hockey fans down there. But you think that there's too much pressure, too much buildup on the kid, if I've read you right. Where do you see this going for him? Because he's going to go number 1 overall.
To be fair, I think he could handle the pressure. I don't think that he's a guy that's going to, I think he's pretty, maybe stoic isn't the right word, but I don't think the pressure is going to get him. I just don't think that he has the grit, and there's just something missing that's going to propel him to a superstar future. He's no McDavid. Someone called him the next McDavid the other day. Please.
A lot are, and that's unfortunate because I'm not sure if I might have somewhere along the line. He's his own player. More from Jeff Gordon. He says, Bedard likes to do cheap shots after the play, unnecessary for a talented player. Fair enough, but we've seen McDavid do it. I've personally seen it. I've seen Ovi do it. Sometimes enough's enough.
The thing is, though, with Bedard, to be fair, watching him live, when you watch him live, like at the juniors, he was the one that got cheap shotted a lot.
That's why he's doing it.
Exactly. I will stick up for him for that. I don't think he's a dirty player, but guys are all over him all the time. All the time.
Jennifer at the Four Seasons says, will Bedard be on the juniors this year? That is a Texas 10-4. There's no doubt about it. David in Winnipeg says, does Sarina think you can speak right to her. Do you think your Canadian captaincy success for a team stands true with the Winnipeg Jets not having a captain for the distant future?
Ooh, I think you have to have a captain regardless. Someone has to be running the ship. I just have never agreed with teams that haven't had a captain, because regardless of what you're doing, whether it's a place of employment, a team, whatever the case, you're dealing with multiple personality types and different types of people. You have to have someone leading that crew. You have to.
Jack Fulton, watching in Vulcan, Alberta, says, Rod, I agree. Get this girl on the air as much as possible. Sarina, you rock.
Thank you.
She does. I think we'll keep her. Do you, as we mentioned, the first ever female play-by-play broadcaster in Canada, but do you want to tell the folks what you do the rest of the time?
What I do in
Eat Fitness?
my free time? Yeah, I have a company called Eat Fitness. It stands for Educate and Train. It's all online coaching. So this giraffe, he probably could afford to lift a weight or two, but we'll see.
Doesn't like it.
Yeah, he's a good runner. He runs a lot. But yeah, I do nutrition, fitness coaching, everything online, that's the way of the world now. Great.
So that's what she does. You can look her up on that. So National Hockey League tonight, New York Rangers at Ottawa, San Jose Sharks at Toronto, Buffalo at Detroit, and Edmonton at Chicago. Here's one for you. We are just past the quarter-way mark, which is U.S. Thanksgiving, in the National Hockey League. Which teams that are in right now do you think won't stay in? And I can call up the standings if you want. And those that are out that may get back in.
That's a great question. I think there's a lot.
You think a lot will change?
Yeah, I think a lot's going to change. I think that your bottom 5 every week, I don't really foresee any of those teams rocking and rolling. But ultimately, sadly, I don't think Calgary's done. I think they have a little bit left in the tank here. I don't really think they've hit their stride as much. But yeah, I think there's going to be there's going to be, like we talked about last year, there's like the really good teams and the really bad teams. And there wasn't too many in between. I feel like this year there's a few more in between.
The playoff teams as it stands today: Boston, Toronto, Tampa, New Jersey, the New York Islanders, Carolina, and the wildcard teams are Detroit and Pittsburgh. That's in the East. In the West, your teams are Dallas, Winnipeg, Colorado, Vegas, Seattle, LA. And the wildcard teams, believe it or not, are the Edmonton Oilers and Calgary Flames.
Well, that's going to change. And I don't think Pittsburgh's done. I think Pittsburgh, a few weeks ago, they were on the road on like kind of a West Coast swing, and they had a tough time. They lost a lot of games in a row, and I think it'll flip around. You can't have superstars that have that much experience that are just going to let it go by the wayside. They'll turn it around a little bit, I think.
John in Edmonton wants to know, what's your thoughts on why there are no Canadian NHL teams winning the Stanley Cup since 1993?
I don't really think it has anything to do with geographical location. I've never really thought that. I think that the league is changing so much that there's always, there's so many Canadians on every team. Like, we go to games here in Florida and there's a ton of Canadians on the team. And it's like, it doesn't matter. The players don't care where they're playing. They just play for their team. So I'm not trying to use that as an excuse, because people ask me that all the time. I've lived in the U.S. for 15 years. I was like, oh, how come a Canadian team has one? I'm like, do you have any idea who your captain is? They don't know. They don't.
Ted in Red Deer wants to know, so Sarina, would you trade out of the first overall pick for a haul of picks and players?
No.
Not this year. I wouldn't. No.
There's too many good guys that are up for the draft this year that I think I wouldn't do it this year. Depending on the year, like if it was this past year, yeah, I'd have traded. Why not? If it depends on who you need, like depends who you need. If you need a goaltender, if you need a whatever, maybe you make a trade, but that's a bad example. Nobody trades for a goaltender, but.
You mentioned being in the United States for 15 years. Mm-hmm. Holy smokes, here we go. All those are the texts I just opened up. From Perry S. Hockey. Perry Shockey is watching in Lethbridge, Alberta. You remember Shocks?
Yeah.
He says, hey, Rod. I said, Hot Rod. Went to the Flames game last night. Huberdeau has a more complete game and, most importantly, a maturity as a genuine team player. Uyghur's a great fit and versatility to play with any D partner. They have the character that fits into Daryl's two-way hockey. He says, my guess is that Sarina has a more deep-rooted issue with Barkov. He's the type of player that every team he gets the puck offensively that opposing coaches cringe. Oh, the way Shock says it. As soon as he gets the puck, opposing coaches cringe. I think Sarina sees his lack of intensity to maximize his talent every shift. Is that fair?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't think he's not talented. I think he is talented. I just think that he kind of leaves a little bit on the bench every time he's out there. That's why I don't like him. I don't like lazy hockey players or people that don't put in 100% effort every shift. And I don't feel like he does, because he's got more to offer.
Sean in Vancouver says, great chemistry with you guys. Matching colors, too.
I didn't even notice.
That just happened. That just happened.
That's going to have to be a thing now.
From David in Winnipeg. He goes, I'm usually fairly conservative in my praise of Winnipeg-based players due to the many years of constant disappointment. What are your thoughts on Josh Morrissey's play this year? I think he's definitely playing at a Norris Trophy level. He's doing everything that you want. He had the hat trick the other night, a 4-point night. He's on now one of the best teams in the National Hockey League. He's been through a lot there. He's been great, I feel, ever since he came into the league. I like what David's saying. He's like, I don't want to get, be a homer, but he'd be great on any team.
I absolutely. I think he's a great hockey player. Edmonton could use a little taste of that. That's for sure.
How much are the Oilers missing Duncan Keith, in your opinion, by the way?
Ooh. Well, when we picked up Duncan Keith, I thought people are a little bit like, why would Edmonton do that? And I thought, oh, no, you guys are going to see. But honestly, I've been underwhelmed. I was underwhelmed by his play ever since he came along. And unfortunately, because I really like him and I think he was just, when he was playing in Chicago and you have that many solid defensemen on one team, he was unbelievable. But yeah, I was just a little disappointed with his play in Edmonton.
Stepping outside the norm, Todd in Red Deer's watching on Game Plus and says, great show as always. Rod, I was curious if you and Sarina think hockey is the hardest to do play-by-play. It seems like it to me, but I couldn't do any of it. LOL. Well, to me, it wasn't hard at all. I came out of the womb, hit the floor, bonk. I was ready to go calling hockey games. So it's never, no, not to me. Football was difficult, but I'd never played the sport. I didn't understand football, and I don't think I could ever do basketball. I think it kind of depends on, I get what you and I have talked about this before.
I just had this conversation with someone this morning, and he said, hockey has to be the hardest thing. And I said, to me, baseball is the hardest thing. You have to fill the gaps. And the fact that Vin Scully called Dodgers games for 125 years without a color guy is mind-boggling to me.
It's a lot of talking.
Yeah,
but it helps. It helps, obviously, to know the sport. We're going to let her go shortly here. From John in Edmonton, he says, I think we found the new co-host. Sorry, Moose. John also wants to know, why hasn't Regina traded Connor Bedard? Are they scared? Well, I could talk about it every day, or we could not talk about it at all. What are we going to do here?
Junior hockey trades are so much different than professional because there's no money involved. Like, not really. So it's a completely different animal.
They haven't traded him because the owner doesn't want to trade him, because the owner wants to sell as many tickets as possible while he's there. And what I also am told, I don't know, been told it enough, I guess it's true, they can't bear the thought of when he's drafted number 1 overall that the team that picks him says the Chicago Blackhawks select from the Kamloops Blazers Connor Bedard.
Well, the Pats don't have a good track record with first overall picks.
It's not the point. Listen, do what you want, but when the rink's empty for the next 3-4 seasons and your team's in last place because you held on to him too long, don't come crying to me, as Lone Star likes to sing.
They actually encourage you to come crying to them.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Sarina, thanks, as you were.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything.
My pleasure.
Geno Lewis joins us next. It's the RP Show. We're on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your knee, leading to joint damage or even a permanent disability. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Golf, Hawaii, and the Four Seasons. Imagine picking up your clubs and feeling like a pro for one whole week in paradise. Well, you can get that chance this December with 5-star accommodations, a 3-day tournament at a championship course, and loads of VIP experiences. The Pro Leisure Golf Tour is going to make you feel like a pro, even if your golf game doesn't. So whether you're looking to grab your golfing buddies for a tropical getaway or just wanting to find an exclusive VIP experience to take part in, the PLGT is perfect for you.
It's the RP Show, switching gears a little bit here on episode number 893 of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. Game Plus TV, YouTube Live. Very excited to welcome to the program the reigning East Division Most Outstanding Player of the Canadian Football League of the Montreal Alouettes, Geno Lewis, 3-time All-Canadian, All-Star from the Canadian Football League. Joins. He's still got his Alouettes cap despite pending free agency. Geno, welcome to the RP Show, man. How's the off season going for you?
Doing good, man. First, I just want to thank you for letting me get on here today, man, and I appreciate. Ready to have a good conversation.
Yeah, well, we always enjoy talking ball here, Geno, and for our viewers, I would hope they all know who you are from Norristown, Pennsylvania. Played at Penn State and Oklahoma, and I just mentioned your CFL career. Geno, can you take me through? Let's just start with this. The 2022 season. Individually, it was fantastic. You guys went through a lot in Montreal. I couldn't get past the Argos in the playoffs, but you were at the Grey Cup. As you look back at this season, you've had a couple weeks to reflect on it. How would you say it went?
Yeah, personally, I always feel like if you don't win a championship, it's not the best season. So obviously, I always take the goods and the negatives from it. But if you don't win a championship, I just feel like as a team that you came short. But that doesn't take away the accomplishments that we all did individually as a team. What we built on. I felt pretty good about the season. I actually just got done. I was just going through watching film, getting ready to put things together for my highlight tape, and just kind of breaking everything down. And you can kind of see, the ups and the downs that we had. We kind of made a lot of games close that really probably didn't need to be. But I just think that at the end of the day, we grinded out as much as we could. We went through a whole bunch of stuff, man, on and off the field. And I was very happy and grateful just to see how guys handled all that. Because I've been in Montreal for a long time and had to deal with that type of stuff. So to see the young guys, deal with it and be able to keep playing through it, I thought that was a great testament to their career.
You're not a coach, but looking back, what would you have done differently? What do you think as a team you guys could have done differently to get to the Grey Cup?
I think there was times we definitely could have been more aggressive. I think it's times where we could have had some better player-coach communication. just on, just understanding the game and how the games are going and how to adjust in a better way. And then I also just think at the end of the day, man, we just got to go out there and want it more. Sometimes it's the little mistakes that catch up to you when it catches up to you, and I feel like that's ultimately kind of what happened to us.
What were your impressions of Grey Cup week? Obviously, you were up for the big award, MVP of the league. You went to the greatest Grey Cup party there was, ours, hosted by Twisted Tea, and then a pretty interesting game, certainly coming down to the end. What was your Grey Cup week like in Saskatchewan?
The Grey Cup week was awesome, man. That was my first time actually going and just seeing how it all works, and it was a great opportunity just to see how the NFL, the CFL works. Just seeing how teams manage things that they have going on. Just having conversations with other people, meeting guys that from other teams that you don't know personally. You just know on the field, but you realize like, okay, that guy, he kind of cool. Like you don't really know him until you have some personal time with him. But it was a great experience. I think Saskatchewan, when it comes to facilities and things like that, they're at a different level, man. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see that how they set everything up. And like you said, we had a great time at the bar with the party and everything with a whole bunch of teams and players. And for me, the game it was bittersweet. It's kind of hard watching a game that I feel like we should have been in, could have been in, and I feel like we had a good chance to do it. But I thought, like I said, it was an entertaining game. It came down to the end. It was great special teams, great offense, and great defense, and the weather was pretty nice out there for Saskatchewan. So if it was like that, I'll take it any day.
It certainly could have been worse. Let's put it that way. You mentioned those players. Who are some that you got to know that you realized were, better guy than you thought they were once you got to know them? Who were some of those guys?
Yeah, so that was my first time meeting Sean Lemon. He's actually a character, man. He's funny. I talked to Mandy Arsenal for a little bit. Lonzo, the D tackle from Ottawa. Just a couple of them guys, man. Just walking around and just getting to know them. Seeing what their mindset is and things like that and how they feel about the game. And it's just good to get perspectives from other people from other teams.
The viewers always like questions for you. Here are a few, if you don't mind. Some where did it go here? Ryan in Toronto wants to know, Geno, excluding Montreal, where is your favorite place to play in Canada?
Where's my favorite place to play in Canada, excluding Montreal? If we talking about stadiums and things like that, I love playing in Saskatchewan. Winnipeg Stadium is awesome. It's a different atmosphere in those stadiums, just because it's you kind of feel more of like an NFL feel, honestly, just because of the dynamic of the stadiums and how big they are and how they kind of work. I always love playing in those places. I love playing in Hamilton because I always go crazy in Hamilton. So, and then I really like playing in Toronto too because they got grass. I think that's a game changer. Just having regular grass and stuff like that. I love really playing in all the places like that. I really never have a problem. I like playing in away games. I've always did since I was in high school. I love playing away games.
You're a little like me. I think every CFL atmosphere is great. Every single one of them. Dan in Saskatoon says, Boomer Sooner. Geno, do you think your former teammates Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield are both portrayed poorly for who they actually are in the NFL?
Yeah, for sure. I think the perspective on them and how people look at them is just, a lot of it is off of social media. If you met them guys personally and just hung out with them, they're probably not anything that everybody says they are. It's just, you got to understand, in football, especially when you're a quarterback and you're losing and things aren't going the way that they should be, and your expectations are so high, there's a lot of things that could just come out and be the reason why people think this is happening and that is happening. And trust me, listen, both of them guys, they want to win so bad, and that's why sometimes you can get very frustrated, and I do too. Like when you hate losing more than you love winning, there's a different fire in you. So you have to understand, like, it might come off a different way, but they're just trying to win. They're trying to win, for the organizations, and they're just trying to put they're trying to reach their full potential and with their talent.
Ted in Red Deer says, Geno is a beast. Some team will be very happy with him. Regarding your pending free agency, he says, do you want to play in the East or come out West? Are you open to all options?
Honestly, I never even really thought about that too. The thing is, I've been in Montreal my whole career, so like I don't really know anything else. You know what I mean? I understand. See, because me being in the East, also, it's since I've been up here, it's always been like, oh, the West is dominant, and the West is this and the West is that. But I also see the East, as a very, very good division. It's just some years the East were so even that there's so many ups and downs. This team will win, that team will win, this team will win, and then it comes down usually to the end. No, I really don't. Honestly, I don't really have a preference right now. I really don't have no preference. I just want to play somewhere where I could just go crazy and just reach my full potential.
Just a couple minutes left with you, Geno. When will the free agency pick up for you? What is it, a week before the actual free agency opens? Teams can talk to you. Do you have an idea what you're going to do? What are you thinking?
Yeah, so right now I'm in the process of I'm talking with Montreal. First things first, I want to make sure they get a coach. I want to see who the coach is going to be. Just a couple of things I just want to see, before I make any decisions. I felt like last year coming into the season, the off season, I might have rushed myself too, just with contracts and things like that. So right now, I'm just really I'm in talks with Montreal. Like I said, I'm trying to do everything I can to put Montreal in the driver's seat. It's kind of just like a little bit of a waiting game right now. And personally, the position that I'm in right now, I'm not really in the biggest rush. You know what I mean? I have to make sure that I make the right decision for myself and make sure everybody's happy and we're all on the same page. But yeah, man, I'm excited for the situation. A lot of people wish they were in the position that I'm in, and I'm just grateful to be here and just looking forward to the future.
Hey, and lastly, in a minute or less, what is your off season looking like, Geno? What are you getting up to for the holidays and into the new year?
Yeah, so I just came back home. I went back home for Thanksgiving. I went to see my family, seen all my nephews, my cousins, my mom, my dad, my brothers and sisters. I'm going to go back for Christmas, spend some more time with them. I want to try to take my mother on a vacation for her birthday in January, like I usually do. I took her to Miami a couple years ago. And then, probably like towards the end of January, early February, I'm going to start getting back into my full-time training, probably go down to Florida at some point. I always feel different when I'm in Florida training and things like that. That's kind of like my happy place. I need palm trees and I need the water. It gets my mind right. So especially coming back up here and having to get ready for October and November cold. So yeah, man, like I said, I'm excited. I ended the season very healthy. You know what I mean? That's one of my biggest things that I always want to do. And yeah, man, I'm ready to even take this to a whole nother level. I got so much more in the tank. If everybody thought last year was a good year, just wait till you all see what I really have, in the future, man. I'm excited and I'm ready to get this thing going.
Well, I believe you. And hey, there's a lot of ballers here in Boca. If you hit this area, look us up, man. We'd love to see it. It's good for the soul here in South Florida. Yeah. Geno, thanks for the chat. Thanks for coming to our party. What's up?
I used to train in Davie.
Okay, not cowboy country, not too far down the road. Merci. Yeah. Have a good day. Thank you, Geno.
That's cool. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Geno Lewis of the Montreal Alouettes. One final viewer takeover coming up next. Get your questions and comments in. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love. Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head and cause a lifelong injury. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, welcome back. It's just me here for Overtime. It's brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the National Football League. And indeed, it is as beautiful here as it looks. Another day in paradise. By the way, Sarina's not with me for this segment, but she brought up the lack of Canadian captains as a problem for NHL teams. Mike in Mississauga, Ontario, is watching on Game Plus TV, and he says, good call, Sarina. Landeskog last year and Dustin Brown in LA, the only cup winners who were not Canadian in recent memory. Signed, Mike in Mississauga. And that's the beautiful thing about her. She's not afraid to say whatever she thinks. Never has been, doesn't care what you think. To be honest, I'm not as bold as that. For instance, I'm hoping to get to this sports update, but if I don't, I got breaking news here that has come down from the Canadian Football League, and you just tell me in the time we have left what you think about this, whether it be via the YouTube feed or the text line, 902-518-3033. The Canadian Football League announced postseason player discipline today. BC Lions offensive lineman Sue Chung has been fined for a blindside block on Bombers linebacker Malik Clemens. Clearly that was in the West Final. Argos offensive lineman Philip Blake has been fined for a high hit on Alouettes defensive back Wesley Sutton. Alouettes defensive lineman Mike Moore has received a maximum fine for verbal abuse of an official. And Hamilton Tiger Cats linebacker Kyle Wilson has been fined for violating the league's social media policy. And I don't even know what any of that is. I don't know what Mike Moore said to the ref. I don't know what Kyle Wilson said on social media. But all of this coming out 10 days after the Grey Cup was even played. And we talk about them needing to be in the news and staying visible. This is it. Like, I don't know, man. I've been down here since the day before Grey Cup, so you tell me if I'm missing something. Has Brandon Banks been partying like Alex Ovechkin in 2018 with the Stanley Cup? Has that been going on? Or whatever year it was they won the Stanley Cup? Because I'm not seeing anything out of the CFL. And this is what they come out with today. 4 fines for players. You couldn't have done it the week after? I have a bit of an issue with that myself. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. Ted and Red, your great show. Stay warm for most of you. The rest, be cool. It's a warm one here in South Florida today. John Herdman, as we go to a sports update, says he wants to remain coach of Canada's national men's team through the 2026 World Cup in North America after leading the nation to its return to soccer's top tournament. Toronto and Vancouver are among the host cities for the 2026 tournament. Canada closes out the World Cup on Thursday against Morocco. They didn't make the next round. The Blue Jays hired former New York Yankees great Don Mattingly as the team's bench boss today. He spent 7 seasons as manager of the Miami Marlins and was named manager of the year in 2020. Last minute of play in the RP show today. He was fired this September. I'll never forget the day. It was when we were at the Dolphins and the Bills. I'm like, what a great day to announce you're firing your manager in Miami when the Dolphins are playing. Nobody will notice. It's exactly what happened. Toronto Raptors carry a 2-game winning streak into New Orleans. Tonight, Toronto coming off that home win over Cleveland the other night, 100-88. The Atlanta Hawks are at Orlando tonight. 3 in the NHL. The Oilers look for their 3rd win in a row as they head to Chicago. The Leafs have won 4 straight. They host San Jose, and Moose will be there. Sens ride a 2-game win streak into their home match with the New York Rangers. The sports updates for Ballers Rec Room, the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. Thank you to Geno Lewis, Alan May, Rich Sutter, Perry Shockey, all our buds for joining in. Sarina, Moose, our whole crew. We'll see you tomorrow at noon Eastern right here.
Who has more fun than us?
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.